This is the new X Division champion, Trey Miguel, here to let you know that you can find me in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, December 9th and 10th at Impact Wrestling. And you are tuning into the Battleground Podcast.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back into iHeartRadio's official wrestling podcast, the Battleground Podcast. And it is a special treat this week because this is a guy that we have been trying to get on our show for the longest. And, the luck usually is you come on the show, you go on to win gold. But my man doesn't need any luck because he's already won gold. So let's go ahead and bring him in. If you ask my 5-year-old, his name is Spider Trey, but we know him as Trey Miguel comes on the show. There he is. Trey, my man, what's going on, dude?
What's going on, man? What's your 5-year-old's name?
His name is Liam, and he's actually in the other room, and he found out that we were talking to you. We met you at the Nashville show recently when y'all were at the fairgrounds, and he found out that I was talking to you today, and he's like, Spider Trey's coming on the podcast, and he's so excited. So he's going to come in later, and I think he's going to ask you a question. He's going to try to ask you a question. He's just shy because you're one of his favorite wrestlers. But let's kind of go back to this real quick. You recently just picked up the X Division Championship at Overdrive, a very long overdue time for you to have that title. I mean, you had to go through a lot of people to get to that final battle. You had to take out Alan Angels and the original champ, the former champ, Speedball Mike Bailey. What is it like having that title in your hands again?
So one of the first questions I was asked post-match, I'm undoing my wrist tape and the belt's just lying in my lap. And cameras are in your face and people are asking questions. And the first question that was asked was, how does it feel to have it back? And my answer was the same as I'm going to give you right now. It feels like it never left. It feels like that old friend that you're such good friends with that you guys went 6 months without even saying hi, bye, or even a happy birthday. You missed birthdays, you missed holidays, and you don't even bring it up because it doesn't matter. You guys are just happy to be back in each other's graces, and it feels like nothing's changed in between. It feels like I never lost the championship. It is weird. It's like the last 6 months of my life or 5 months or however long it's been literally just didn't happen. I know it took a lot to get back to this point, but somehow just having the championship, like all of that, it's like it never happened. No time has passed. It's mine again.
For sure. Because, I mean, when you think about Impact Wrestling and you think about X Division, and we're going to be a little biased here on the show, you think of Trey Miguel. That's who you think of when you think of X Division. So it's only fitting that you have that title now.
I couldn't agree more. When I think it's like pretty asinine that if you like Google X Division Impact Wrestling, that the first picture that comes up is the championship. I think it should just be me, but it's not the case. One day it probably will be. We apparently there's more work to do until we get there, but whatever.
Right, for sure. I mean, we could call this like the Trey Miguel division. That's what we're gonna do. It's not the X Division anymore because
I am the Fresh Prince of Midair. I wanted to call it the Fresh Division, but so many people have changed the name of it. You know what I mean? Like. It is what it is. It's the X Division, but it's my X Division. It's not one to be shared.
For sure. And the thing is like, we watch your matches and it's like, how is Trey going to top this? And then every match you continuously go above and beyond, which is great. And we're giving you your flowers now for every match that you've done, because every time we've watched you wrestle, it's like, is he even human? Like, what is happening right now?
I appreciate that, man. I really do.
But of course, and again, we're giving you your flowers now instead of having to wait till later after it's like, he's no longer the X Division. He was the great. No, we're giving you the flowers now. But I do want to kind of talk about this, and a lot of people saw this at Overdrive. A lot of people think that you got your title over a controversial win. But I mean, I don't see that as a controversial win. You got to do what you got to do, right?
What was controversial about it? I painted his mask. He was already wearing paint around his eyes. If you watch towards like the in the last 3 minutes, he's like rested by the guardrail, and all the makeup around his eyes was starting to like wear off. And I'm always so nervous for the luchadors that like if they're leaving the building without their mask on, that someone might be able to recognize that much of their eye and be like, oh, that's Black Taurus. So I was just, and he had green horns. So I was like, yo, dude, let me touch up your paint real quick, bro. People are going to notice you after this match. I didn't think he was going to blind him. I thought he'd close his eyes. But dude kept his eyes open. He got burned. And like, whatever. I hit my finisher and I won. And people said, man, I was just trying to touch his makeup up. That's all I was trying to do.
I mean, that's what friends do, right? You're just trying to help him out.
Teamwork makes the dream work. It's safety first, then teamwork. And, you know, whatever. Try to help them.
Here's the thing. Now that you've said what you did, we on the show don't think it's a controversial thing that happened at the end. Now that you've addressed it, you've said, hey, you're trying to help him put on the paint because, you know, as somebody that's been around wrestlers, you can kind of tell a wrestler if they don't have their makeup on, if they're a luchador. Like if you see them out and about, you're like, oh, that's so-and-so.
I look at it like two sprinters, one twisted an ankle, the other went back to help him, but didn't let him cross the finish line first. It's like, you know, that's how I look at it.
I mean, you know what? Not a controversial win for Trey Miguel. We put that up there as a win. He was just trying to help a friend out, and he goes on to defending that X Division title. And speaking of defending that X Division title, of course, we've got coming up Winter Warfare in Florida, Friday night and Saturday night, December 9th and 10th. Looking ahead, is there anybody that, I know you're going to be a fighting champion, is there anybody that you're looking forward to giving an opportunity for that title?
No.
No?
No. No, not at all.
I mean, anybody could step up to you, but the thing is they're not going to win that title.
It's open for the shop's always open for business, but like, there's not like someone I want coming in my store to buy something particularly. Anyone could get it though.
Yeah. Is there anybody that you would, you know, I know you don't want anybody just walking into the store, but you know, kind of giving yourself the pencil. Is there like a certain somebody that you've been eyeing of like, hey, I'd like to see, you know, try to step up to the plate?
Nope. If I think about it, I look at it like this. We had a tournament full of the best of the X Division. The best of the X Division won the tournament. So why go back and give opportunity to people that obviously couldn't get the job done? What I would like to do is take it back like a decade and do something like when I was a fan of Impact. Every week they would have faces from the independents, people that weren't signed or were maybe signed to different companies or just frequented other companies, and have them do weekly open challenges for the X Division Championship. That's how I got familiar with a lot of the people that I'm fans with now and that I now share locker rooms with. I think that that's something that's super cool because it's always a surprise.
Right,
and
for sure.
It gives you a reason to want to tune in. You might find your favorite indie wrestler, your favorite AAA wrestler, your favorite Crash wrestler, or, you know, face from PWG or from Pro Wrestling Revolver, or, you know, like any of those places. You don't know what's going to happen. And I like having that sense of who is this guy? What can he do? And it constantly changing the way the matches go every single week because of it. That's something I'd like
for sure. And, you know, you talk about those original Impact days. I was there at the fairgrounds every Wednesday night when it happened. I was there for, I guess, the second night when I was at Municipal, not the first night in Alabama. But I mean, you go back and think about the lineage of the X Division. I mean, you've got people that have put their name on that championship of AJ and Amazing Red, Jerry Lynn, Trey Miguel is a part of that lineage right there. How does it feel to be a part of that lineage of saying, hey, I etch my names with some of the best?
It feels really crazy. And it wasn't something that I realized I was doing. I mean, just holding the championship puts you, you know, in that history book. But until it was actually the night I lost it, it marked, I think, like the 154th day or so as champion is what they said. And I ended up actually tying with Christopher Daniels for the 5th longest reign. And finding that out, I was like, I know it's number 5, but that's still cool because that's one of the Impact goats. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of the originators of the style that we do, and he's still doing the damn thing too. finding that out was a moment where I was like, wow, I'm like actually in the history books of like what this entire thing is. It's crazy. It's wild, and to now be a multiple time championship holder again, it's something else that adds to the history books with my name in it. It's really cool every time I get to check one of these things off, and the moment that I realize, oh snap, I'm a part of history. It's not the first thing that comes to mind every time. It really isn't. You can social media and all these distractions, there's so many things that'll distract you from taking it in and taking
Yeah.
it in for what it really is or what it really means. But yeah, it's super super crazy to think about that.
For sure. And here's something that's even more crazier, and we've talked about this on the show, is like, you've held a lot of titles in Impact. Is going after that heavyweight title still on the table for you? Like, I know everybody has the option C to cash in that X Division title, but is that something you would want to cash in, or would you want to be X Division and heavyweight champion at the
That's
same
my
time?
boy right there. That is a thinker. I had another interview X amount of minutes ago, and they were like, "Is option C an answer?" I was like, "How come no one's ever just had the bright idea? Why don't I have both? Why do I have to cash this in to do the next? Why not just lock down the X division? Be like, y'all are chumps. Y'all didn't add up. I'm the goat, and then pull up on the big homies down the street that weigh 50 and 60 pounds more." Why has no one
Mhm.
ever thought of that? I'm thinking of it now, and you just thought of it too. And because of what this entire thing does, it sets people up to go for gold. You just put it into the universe, and now my goal for 2023 is to be the X Division and the world champ at the same time.
And you know what? I think that is doable because, again, everybody that has gone on this show has gone on to win gold. So, I mean, you've already won the Impact, the X Division title, so you don't
And
have to
that's
worry about
silver.
that.
That's silver. That's why I didn't have to come on this show first.
Exactly. And and I sit here and look about it, and the track record of people that has come on this show and has gone on to win gold. Like, for example, we had Matt Cardona on. 2 days after he came on our show, he went on to win the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Everybody has come on this show. We have a big track record. We could go down the list of line of people, but now you're adding your name to that lineage of the list of being the next person to hold gold. And I think I have a belt sitting behind me over here that could eventually be in your travel bag soon.
I could definitely see myself being the WCW world champion.
I mean, you can have that one. You can have the Battleground, our new one. I've got the Impact. You can have that one. I mean, there's a lot of belts behind me that I could see you walking away with very soon.
Man, that to be the Impact Wrestling World Champion, that would be insane because that would mean I have to beat Josh Alexander. That's the toughest son of a bitch I've ever met in all of pro wrestling. But I mean, like, he gets a lot of bloody noses and black eyes. Maybe there will be a time where I'm standing across the ring from him, and he might need a touch up on his makeup. He's the face of the company. This face should not be bruised and battered. So I might see him and spray his eyes and clear the bruises and all that and roll him up and win a belt one day. I mean,
I think that's the thing. And I mean, you and Josh have a history as well. And I go back to a few years back at Slammiversary. We were there when it was at Skyway Studios. And I'll never forget, I was sitting there and I was like, this is an amazing match. It was the X Division, the Ultimate X match. I snapped a photo that went viral. And I'll show it to you. This was the best photo of the night, was this one right here. Not for you and per se, but I mean,
no.
you look at it though, and like you see that photo, and it's iconic. Unlike not for you though, because you were at the end of it. But I mean, you and Josh have a history.
I think Chris Bay may have had it the worst. My man was in a dangling ankle lock.
Well, there was that too. I mean, and all the blood rushing to his head. Yeah. Ooh,
ankle locks suck already, and being upside down sucks already. So like taking the two of those things, I'm sorry to my boy, sucks to suck.
Yeah, I mean that is the thing. But I mean, you and Josh have history, so I would love to see that down the road because I mean, Josh is a big dude. He could still fly. I mean, there was a reason why he was an X Division champion.
Very true.
I think that maybe we throw this out in the universe. I want to see Trey versus Josh Alexander for all the gold and silver.
Yes, I do too. I do too. I do.
And I think once we get that, we'll all rejoice, and then we riot if Trey doesn't win.
Oddly enough, so I'm just finishing up the Overdrive pay-per-view, and Josh Alexander is now making his entrance on my television screen for his match with Kazarian. This is just like the weirdest stuff, the way all this is adding up. So I think a lot has happened today. I'm going to leave crystals by my window, make moon water, all the stuff that my witchy girlfriend does to manifest stuff. I saw this thing the other day that essentially said, don't make fun of women that do the crystal stuff. Because, and I don't know what to call it. And I don't mean to offend anyone by calling it crystal stuff. Or manifestations. That was Thanos.
Yeah.
Thanos used crystals to control the universe and its energies, and every woman that does that could snap you away. So you be careful.
No jokes. No joke. My wife is into the crystal stuff as well. And I'm just
watch out, bro.
At first I started kind of making fun of her for it. And I was like, what is all this? And then I realized, and I was like, yeah, not a good idea to make fun of that stuff. Not a good idea.
She's Thanos. She will get
yeah, she is. And speaking of Thanos, and we'll kind of jump off of wrestling and we'll go to Marvel real quick. Your gear has been phenomenal. There's a reason why my 5-year-old calls you Spider Trey. Is there any plans? And this is me noticing things, being a Marvel fan as myself. You coming out at Overdrive, everything was a little green, and we all know green and Spider-Man. Is there maybe a green Trey Miguel ring attire coming soon with that form of character? I don't want to throw that out in the universe because I'll let people figure out who we're talking about.
I think if you watch Impact Wrestling next week, you'll find that out.
So you're gonna have to tune in. We could see some interesting stuff.
Because I believe tomorrow night is a Thanksgiving special, so we're just going to have the highlights of older funny moments and stuff like that were based around Thanksgiving. So I think tomorrow or next week is when we'll resume with the regular programming. So tune in then, and you'll probably get the answer to that question.
Now, we'll kind of just stay on the Marvel topic, but when you sit here and we could talk about this all day long, but do you think possibly Trey Miguel, if they did a live action, Spider-Man, could we see Trey try to read for Miles?
Man, I would do anything in the world to get that role, but I would do anything in the world to just be an extra in a Spider-Man movie. You know what I mean? But I mean, if I could go that far, 1000%. I don't know how to get those connections. If anyone knows somebody, call somebody that can call me. I will do it. I would love to do it. I will pay to do it. You don't have to pay me to do it, but I still want to get a check to do it. I don't think that I couldn't picture or describe a cooler thing that could ever happen in my entire life aside from getting killed by Michael Myers in a movie.
Right. Well, I mean, if you watch the new Halloween movie, spoiler alert, I don't think that could happen for you now. I saw that and I was like, I was waiting for the part for him to just sit up on the cars. They're parading him through the city.
Bro. So I book shows now, and I ran a show that night. I paid $200 to take half of the roster to the movies right after. Man, I'm excited. I bought orange and black Nike Dunks. I'm wearing shorts. I just finished up my Michael Myers house tattoo. I got the whole house tattooed on me. Got the chalk line jacket, the chalk line jersey, the hat to match all of it, bro.
You went all out.
Bro, all out. And then I'm sitting in this movie, and 30 minutes into it, I lean over to Zachary Wentz and I go, I think I fucking hate this movie. And it never got better for me.
I sat there and watched it as well. And
we hadn't even seen Michael yet. I just knew. I was like, once Michael's on the screen, there's nothing he can do that's going to make me happy.
Mm-hmm. I watched it and I was like, this is them just creating Season of the Witch all over again.
1000%. It's like, just leave that shit alone. Why are you doing this to us again? And it had no continuity with the way that we left off at the end of Kills. The entire thing was backwards. Can you tell me why Laurie Strode knows for 40 years that Michael Myers is locked in prison, but is just PTSD ridden and can't cook her own meal to save her own life before she shoots a gun and does all this weird militant behavior? But then the moment he's free, and has killed her daughter and all that. She swears she's gonna hunt him down, just says fuck it, and goes and lives a normal life. Once
and
he's
writes a
free,
book.
we didn't go and live a normal life when he was locked up. We lived a normal life once he was free. Once he was broken out, she should have gone into PTSD mode. This whole thing just said, fuck it. I've never been more. I'm sorry, man. I'm getting worked up as hell over this.
Hey, no, we have to talk about this. I mean, this is the fun part about this is we're all over the place and we can do whatever we want on this show. But I watched that movie and I was like, all right, Season of the Witch all over again.
Oh, we should have known it from the intro.
And I read afterwards, like they had kind of lined up these 3 new ones, like the 3 original ones. And I was like, okay, Season of the Witch, this is what we're getting. And here's what I thought. You could have done a spinoff of this Halloween if you wanted to keep it going, and you could have had the dude become the new Michael Myers, but instead you kill him in the house and then you kill Michael.
Yeah, 1000%. Because if there was one thing I was like once Corey put on the mask and started moving, I was like, okay, he moves like Michael. Mm-hmm. He has really awesome kills. I was like, the dude is sweet. You know, I mean, I hate his name. It doesn't sound even a little bit scary. And I know that they're just going for alliteration to match the Michael Myers theme with Corey Cunningham. But it's like, am I waiting for my newspaper boy to drive by with this Corey Cunningham character? Or am I scared for my life? But once he put on the mask, I was convinced because his kills were awesome.
Oh, they were fantastic.
I was like, maybe I can get behind the passing of a torch. If this means that we're down for like another 8 movies or something like that with this, we're gonna get some time out of this. And then they fucking kill him, and I was all right.
Yeah.
And just and the lack of fight or cat and mouse between Michael and Laurie was just ass.
It was all that, and then at the end it was just like, This is what we're getting, and then you kill him by throwing him into the grinder. Like, I was really hoping for, and I was sitting there watching it with my wife. I was like, I'm just waiting for Michael to just pop up off the hood of the car, stab them, and then he just books it.
Like literally do what he did in Halloween Kills, just play possum the entire time.
Exactly. But nope, that was it. And I was like, well, I guess that's it. There's no more Halloween.
You know what I could have even settled for? Because what I ultimately wanted was for Laurie to die in the first 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted Laurie dead first 30. Let Michael get some heat. Let's build this like a wrestling match. Why don't
Yes. Because that's what I thought was going to happen, because they played it off of they played it off as this is the last one for her. And we cried watching. And I was like, bro, she's about to die first 15 minutes in the movie.
She's got to. And then have Allison come back and finish him. Like, now it's cat and mouse. Now Allison is hunting Michael, but doesn't know that he's behind her the entire time. You know what I mean? And then she ends up slipping a knife up his face or some shit with the mask on. I don't see Michael's face. They just they got so horned up over the idea of Michael being maskless. And it's like, why did you even make this for real? Who'd you do this?
We could have just left this one alone. After you see it, you're like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. But I mean, with what the movie was and how we watched the entire thing up until the finish, if there was one thing that could have redeemed it for me is maybe Laurie gets up on that trash compactor or that grinder with Michael, and then Michael pulls her ass in.
Yes.
But no one can she's out of vision from everyone that's down on the floor. Maybe Michael pulls her in, and then he reveals himself up there, and then everyone shoots him to death, to fall into this grinder. But I don't want to see him get grinded up. I just want to see him fall back, and then I have to imagine him getting grinded up or escaping. They need to quit putting these definite exclamation points on things. It's we're supposed to wonder. In the originals, all of his kills happened off screen. You're supposed to use your imagination. That's what made it scary. They took everything that could make this scary and squandered it.
Yeah, it's a bummer the way it ended. But, I know we don't have too much time, so we'll jump back on the wrestling thing real quick. I mean, we could sit here and do this all day long. I'll hit Ross.
Screw it. I'm on a roll. I want 20 more minutes.
I know. I'll hit Ross up and be like, hey, can we just do an episode where we're just talking scary movies? Because that's what we can do. DM. Right. I'll hit you up on Twitter. We'll go through that way. But Winter Warfare coming up December 9th and 10th in Florida. You can grab your tickets, impactwrestling.com. We're at the end of the year. Anything big happening for you towards the end of the year? Maybe some goals that are left for 2022 heading into 2023?
Goals for this year are pretty much wrapped up. My biggest goal of the year was to get the X Division Championship back. And then my second biggest goal, or my biggest goal outside of wrestling, was to lock down the Air Jordan 1 Lost and Found Chicago 1. We did that. I locked down 2 pairs of that. I paid
That still hurts, by the way.
Dude, I paid resale and it hurt my heart. I paid so much money for these 2 pairs. And I didn't get into the draw until the last 30 seconds. And
the sneakers app was down.
Yeah, and it took 90, but yeah, so I gave up on it. And then I like, okay, I know I'm in the last minute. So I pull it up because it's only 10 minutes for the raffle. It's counting down from exactly 30 when I open it. And it let me join the raffle. And then it took 93 minutes before I got that email notification saying I wasn't selected. So I wrestled that night at Impact. Drove home that night, got home at 4 a.m, woke up at 11, saw my best friend's sneaker store. They bought a huge haul of pairs, told them to save my size. I pulled up, they had 2 in my size, and I was like, yo, I need both of those.
Yeah, I sat there in the draft, try to get those, didn't get that, and then I'm waiting for the cherry reds. Everybody keeps getting those on the early release right now, and I'm still waiting on the waiting to grab those.
There is going to be a restock on these apparently. The Lost and Founds. I just did a day-long YouTube review search just to see what my favorite like sneaker review channels and all of them say that there's a restock coming because Nike locked down a bunch of orders that were going to bots. They figured a bunch of those out, so they're holding back all of those orders, and I guess they had already planned an addition, like a restock anyway. So maybe we're going to get as many pairs. I heard that there were 500,000 pairs of these things made. Doesn't sound realistic. 300,000 was the next number I heard. That may be true with this restock, but the bots ruin it for everyone.
Of course. Well, it sounds like your goals for 2022 have come to fruition. You got your shoes, you got your belt, and we're looking ahead at 2023, and you're going to get another belt and add some more shoes to the collection soon.
Yes, sir. That is it. Oh, and also I got my off-white Jordan 4 this year.
Oh,
I got that. That was the goal of 2020. So that, you know what I mean? Those goals don't just fall off; they roll over. So that was a huge one that we marked off for this year. That was supposed to be years ago, but yeah, that.
Big wins for Trey Miguel in 2022 and looking for some big wins in 2023. Real quick, before we let you go, where can people follow you at on social media? Where's the best place?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Trey Miguel. And you can now follow me on, is it follow? Do we follow people on Hive or do we buzz behind?
I just got on Hive. I think it's
I got on Hive last night. I think I got like 300 something followers. Feel free to follow me on that. I don't know how much I use the thing, but if it's less toxic than Twitter and can start loading faster than it is now because it's a little slow. And we'll see where this thing goes. I remember when Twitter first happened, I was like, this thing is stupid. MySpace is where it's going to be at forever. And now we're in the day that we are now. So maybe take off. And if it does, you can find me there at the same handles as the other two.
For sure, for sure. Well, Trey, we're looking forward to seeing you defend that title. We're looking forward to you getting gold and silver in 2023. It's an honor to have you on the show, man. And thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much, man. Seriously.